The good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett appears to have missed a significant injury to his knee. It is just a bone bruise. The bad news is, given the way that he's played so far this season, it's reasonable to wonder if Mitch Trubisky is a downgrade at all, if he does have to play for Kenny Pickett. Chris Carter from Locked On Steelers joins me now and was nodding his head through that. So that makes me wonder, where are we right now with Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, Chris?
You know, people thought, and Mike Tomlin even said, the Steelers were making progress with Kenny Pickett after their first three games. You know, it was a really rough first game against the Niners, made some progress against the Browns, then a little bit more progress against the Raiders, and there were some signs of moving forward. And then all those signs disappeared when you get mollywopped by the Texans 30-6. And I think that's where it all great comes down to. And, you know, I don't even have the all-22 film yet, but I could tell just watching the game as it was happening, like he wasn't getting his eyes downfield. He was panicking and bailing clean pockets before they even broke. And there were sometimes he was under legitimate pressure and things the Steelers offensive line could have done better. But it's just been an erosion of all the progress that you saw throughout the end of last season and even in the last two games before that Texans game. And granted, yes, it is a very good sign. You know, we were in the Steelers locker room. He was walking around without a knee brace on. So very good signs that he'll be back soon. You know, maybe not this week. They might play Mitch Trubisky this week and then go to the bye week after that and then bring him back so that he has 2 full weeks of rest and time to refocus. But yeah, Kenny Pickett took some steps backwards in this game, and the big conversation in Pittsburgh. There's some that think that it is on Kenny Pickett, and I think there are some things are also. But there's a lot of people who say it's just on the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, who either A, can't call plays, that's what most people say, or B, can't relay the importance of where to look in his plays to Kenny Pickett. Either way, Matt Canada has not had a good first 2 1/4 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers as their offensive coordinator.
I was talking to an NFL source recently about something unrelated to Matt Canada, and Matt Canada came up in a disparaging way from this particular person. And I was like, oh, so Matt Canada is as bad as his critics say he is? And this source was like, yes, straight up. Yes. So there is a perception in the league as well, at least from this person that I spoke to, about Matt Canada. Where do you fall on this? Because I watch this team and I go, okay, there's offensive line problems. They can't run the ball. There's structural issues on offense. Like, this seems to be a multi-leveled problem to my eyes. What do your eyes see?
It is a multi-leveled problem, but I want to provide proper context. When Matt Canada first took over as offensive coordinator, that wasn't his offense. That was Ben Roethlisberger's offense. They did what Ben Roethlisberger did when they wanted to do it, and that's how the 2021 offense flowed. The 2022 version of the Steelers with Matt Canada was a very limited offense. You got a rookie quarterback or a backup quarterback, and you have an offensive line that was terrible until they were kind of mid in the second half of the season, and they were kind of very limited in who they were. The thought was this season they were going to be a more balanced unit. The offensive line was going to be better. Kenny Pickett was going to be better, and they could expand the playbook a little bit more. And that hasn't happened. And this is my thing. I know people are talking about, oh, the Steelers run some basic plays. The Steelers haven't hit on their basic plays, and that's the issue right now. Matt Canada can't even get to call complex plays that are based off of any successful things that the Steelers do regularly because they don't do anything well regularly. And that also comes down to coordination, right? Like part of a offensive coordinator's job, especially with a young quarterback, is getting them to understand where to go with the ball at the right times in different situations based off of what defenses are doing. And the Steelers aren't getting that from him. Now, I don't think the Steelers are going to fire Matt Canada mid-season. That's just not been their way. I don't think they fired an offensive coordinator mid-season since like 2000. But a lot of people in town are calling for something like this to happen. Maybe they move the duties of what an offense coordinator does to find different things to do. Mike Tomlin promised change after this game. I promise he just said, no, we better change after the way that we've looked. But that's the big question: is will that happen, or will Kenny Pickett just kind of get the same thing and we just see this in perpetuity? And then if that does continue for the long stretch of the season, then there become questions about Mike Tomlin and what is his future in Pittsburgh. He has not signed an extension yet, and I believe his contract is up after next season, which in Pittsburgh, normally if you're the head coach, you get that extension before that even happens, so it's not a discussion going into your last year. It hasn't happened yet. I'm very eager to see how this plays out.
Stay up to date on the Pittsburgh Steelers by subscribing to Locked On Sports today and Locked On Steelers on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Coming up, Zion Williamson is ready for a new season.